And researchers in Britain have made a very welcome discovery in the fight against COVID. A low-cost, widely used anti-inflammatory has improved the chances of survival for seriously ill patients. Now, this is the first treatment so far to show life-saving promise. The medicine Dexamethasone has reduced deaths by a full third among patients on ventilators. The drug, though, does not bring any relief to patients with milder symptoms.
Amid rising tensions here on the Korean peninsula, North Korea said Wednesday that its army will re-enter the border areas of Kaesong and Mount Kumgang, which had been disarmed under inter-Korean agreements in 2018. The General Staff of the Korean People's Army also said it will resume all kinds of regular military exercises near the inter-Korean border. The statement comes a day after North Korea blew up its liaison office with the South on Tuesday in a series of retaliatory action against Seoul over its failure to stop activists from sending anti-Pyongyang leaflets across the border. The KCNA also said North Korea has rejected South Korea's offer to send special envoys to diffuse tensions, calling it a tactless and sinister proposal.
They're known as Caesar's photographs, named after a military defector who documented torture and killings in Syrian government jails. His testimonies to the U.S. Congress was part of a campaign to hold the regime responsible for what have been described as war crimes. It led to the passing and now the implementation of a bill in the U.S., the so-called Caesar Act.
Any country in the world, if there's a company, individual, entity that's providing technology, financial support, military support to the Assad regime, are all liable for sanctions under the Caesar bill.
India says at least 20 of its soldiers were killed in a clash with Chinese forces, raising the original number of casualties at first reported. The hand-to-hand fighting taking place along a disputed border in the Himalayas. China has accused India of a provocation and has not disclosed if any of its troops were killed. Tensions between the two sides have been building over the last month, but this is the first incident with fatalities in more than 4 decades.
For weeks, trouble has been brewing in one of the remotest border regions in the world. These satellite images show Indian and Chinese troops gathering high in the Himalayas. Now, for the first time in decades, India says 20 soldiers were killed. The two sides fought with fists and rocks. No shots were fired.
Scattered debris and cars still burning after a 4th night of violence in the eastern French city of Dijon. City officials say groups of Chechens and residents clashed, some armed with machetes and guns, after the alleged assault of a Chechen teenager by a drug dealer last week. Some Chechens had reportedly travelled to Dijon from other parts of France and from Belgium and Germany. France's Deputy Interior Minister visited the city and promised police reinforcements.
I've decided to strengthen the security personnel on the ground. From this evening in Dijon, there will be 2 mobile force units here, so nearly 150 extra police officers.
Heart-stopping footage. A vehicle is submerged in water after police say a dad intentionally drove off a cliff with his toddler twins on his lap.
Vehicle is down the cliff. I see movement. It looks like the male and at least one of the kids is out of the vehicle.
The life and death rescue effort unfolds from the air and the water in San Diego. Police say they got a call from the man's wife around 4:30 a.m. saying he'd taken off with their 2-year-old girls and threatened to drive off a bridge. They tracked his phone to this location, but to their horror, they were unable to stop him from driving off this cliff at 60 to 70 miles an hour. K-9 cop Jonathan Weiss was one of the first officers on the scene and sprang into action. Incredibly, he used his dog leash to rappel down the 50-foot cliff to save the twins.
And Pule, you were part of that, you were tracking that operation by City Power officials to effect disconnections in that one community where, there have been a lot of illegal connections. What are City Power authorities telling us about this operation, but also about protecting their infrastructure in many other instances where there are illegal connections?
Well, definitely, Tulas, and what they're saying is that what this does is that illegal connections are the reason behind unplanned outages. So basically, when there's a lot of informal settlements connecting illegally, it affects neighboring communities, and in turn, they have outages as well. But also, what they've highlighted is that this is not only a concern for the neighboring communities, but for the municipality as well, which is costing millions.
Porsche driver Richard Pusey has been slapped with 2 further offences for allegedly filming and taunting dying police following the Eastern Freeway crash. Charged under a rare law, police are continuing to build their case against him. Court reporter Jade Vincent.
Richard Pusey's alleged disregard for human life was labelled sickening. Now police say it's criminal too.
By the behaviour and filming dead police requires some additional charges.
Allegedly filming the carnage of the Eastern Freeway crash for over 3 minutes and taunting a dying police officer. The mortgage broker is accused of zooming in on the confronting fatal scene and screaming that he just wanted to get home to eat his sushi, but now his car was destroyed. 2 months after the crash that claimed the lives of 4 police members, Richard Pusey is now charged with committing an act outraging public decency, an offence that carries a maximum penalty of 2 years jail.
אנחנו עושים צעד חשוב לקראת עלייתו על הקרקע של היישוב רמת טראמפ. הוא נושא בגאון את שמו של ידיד גדול מאוד של מדינת ישראל, אני גם מאוד גאה לומר ידיד גדול שלי, נשיא ארצות הברית דונלד טראמפ.